The lights go green and we go racing. On the inside line is Elise de Pauw. Gounon drops back a little bit as up the inside line goes Matthew Drudy, and there's carnage going into the first corner. Cars scatter everywhere. One Porsche is off. There are 3 cars in the gravel. There's one on the inside line. This is going to be a safety car for sure.
Well, it all kicked off in the middle to the back of the field, turning in, and inevitably 4 cars into 2 into 1 is never going to go.
Now, John, let's have a look at this. Well, we go racing.
Forget about, oh, look down the inside. There's the Mercedes that caused it. It got tipped, then he was off on the inside, and then 2 Audis and the Porsche end up going off. So the Mercedes went way, when it was off track. There it is now, facing wrong way down the middle of Panicle Bend. The Porsche was able to regain track because its rear wheels and tires were on the tarmac. But watch for the Mercedes. There it goes now. It has actually got 2 wheels off the racing line inside that demarcation. And once he makes the contact, it's a bit like a game of snooker. Just one car hits the other, but there's no pockets
Incident
for
at
them to
the
go in.
start involving car 30, 33, 54 and 86 under investigation.
The other element to that, John, of course, you saw well, Ilko, as you rightly said, 2 wheels on the grass, but of course, the barrier starts to taper out, so the room disappears. He had to get back on the racetrack there, but you see it taper, so he's got to force his way back on.
Yeah, I mean, it was his error that set off this whole incident. I suspect that's going to be under investigation because he did have 2 wheels across that white demarcation line, and that line is there for a reason. Yep. It's not there to allow you to use it to your advantage.
Now, this is Rossi. Look, there's the Mercedes on the right, squeeze, tries to get back on, clips the Porsche, which clips the Audi, which clips the other Audi, and Rossi, oh, that was a real heart-in-mouth moment. Well, Elise tries to jink left and right, just get a bit more temperature in the Pirellis, and Jules Gounon sits there menacingly behind. You can do all the weaving you want, so Jules, I'm not going anywhere. He'll be on his toes. Here they come then, into Clark curve, de Pauw floors the throttle, the Ferrari accelerates away, and here they come up towards the line then to get the race back underway. Ferrari leads Mercedes, leads Audi, 1, 2, 3, over the line. We're back racing in Fanatec GT at Brands Hatch. Up towards Paddock Hill Bend they go, and it is de Pauw ahead of Gounon by 0.488 of a second as they turn right, plunge downhill, and now up towards Druids.
Yeah, well-controlled restart by the Ferrari, and really nobody's been managing to either gain or lose positions on this restart.
Downhill though for the first time, if you like, proper, without any fear of yellow flags. So the pit window remains in exactly the same place. So these drivers have got fewer laps within their stint than they would have liked. So they've got to push, push, push. And one of them pushing is Rossi. He's there in 14th place, trying to catch onto the back of Ethan Simeoni in the McLaren. Timo Boguslawski there goes through. In 89, Mercedes down in 5th place, just ahead of the blue Audi of Aurelien Panis. But de Pauw, once more, beautifully controlled restart.
Very good restart. Jules Gounon has picked up the pace, but the car in 3rd place, Matteo Drudy, that is probably of the 3 cars in the lead 3 positions, the one that I think is looking strongest on this restart.
Yeah, that Audi is perhaps quicker in the hands of Matteo Drudy than Luca Giotto, who's still adapting to GT3 cars. Eddie Cheever goes through and looking stronger in 11th place now as you ride on board with the Sky Tempesta Racing Mercedes up towards Sterling to go left, slightly banked corner, back onto the pound, now drag the car out the other side, and all of that grunt of the Mercedes takes it down towards Clearways.
And having to be defensive indeed. They saw the Audi in his mirrors, and likewise he's again, well, is he going to lose position? The Audi has got the drive coming off side by side all the way down, start-finish line, up into Panicle Bend, concedes 1 place, concedes 2 places.
Because right there as well is Ethan Simeoni, who goes through, goes wide. Somebody else has run really wide as well because there's gravel dust settling. They're all pushing on, but Elise de Pauw leads. Gounon in 2nd place. 3rd still is Drudy, and battles rage up and down the order. This is 4th, Boguslawski 5th.
Cheever was able to retake that position from Simeoni because the mistake that was made in Panicle Bend by the McLaren driver caused him to run wide, so Cheever's claimed back at least 1 of the 2 positions he lost coming across start-finish line.
And riding on board here with Valentino Rossi now, he is shown as being in 15th place, but he was 14th at the start of the lap. So what's gone on here? That's what's happening. Ollie Wilkinson's McLaren has got ahead of him.
Well, that's 1 place lost on the race track. So Valentino Rossi will now focus. What can I do? Ollie Wilkinson takes a load on the curb on the inside, going through Sheen. Now you can see Rossi back onto the rear of the McLaren. So there's a short run out of Sterling's all the way down into Clearways. Wilkinson going defensive just to make sure there was no chance of going down the inside by the Audi. Now the first part of this Clark, or Clearways Clark combination, but the McLaren beginning to stretch his legs as they come across start-finish line. Work to do for Rossi. But even his very eminent teammate, Alexander Pjol, has not been able to do. He's just got natural speed, and you can see the gap as you come across the line. Another 0.3 of a second gain to the favour of the lead Ferrari. And Porsche off up again at Sheen Curve, so what is going on up there? I mean, this is part of the racetrack that has been resurfaced. Paddock Hill Bend, then down Graham Hill Bend, and further around the racetrack Westfield. So it seems for some reason, let's watch and see. There's the Porsche. Oh, and that, yes. Oh, well, all the guys who spend all the time putting up those track advertisers, that's going to be, it needs to be removed because cars will be running out to the very edge of that white line. So that needs to be removed. How are you going to put a marshal out there and do it without putting out a full course yellow? I'm not quite sure. The cars are already making their way into the pit lane because the pit lane window is open.
The first one in is Drudy. So that's, and also Charles Wirtz and Timo Boguslavski are in early within the window. So number 12 of Matthew Drudy, 32 Charles Wirtz, and 89 Timo Boguslavski all in, and so is Valentino Rossi, eager to let Fred Vervies take over and get on with the job.
Yes, I mean the team. It is a team game. It's not just about an individual behind the wheel. So Fred Vervies already there, opens the door and helps Valentino Rossi out of the car. Then that will be returned as the seat belts, shoulder straps in particular, are assisted by Rossi. Get the lap straps done up first of all, then you've got the crutch strap, then the shoulder straps. As the lead Ferrari comes through, 3.4 seconds advantage, and he is going to stay out until this pit stop window is about to close. What Jules Gugnon's doing is there, Fred Vervies returns to the track, so stays on the lead lap, which is going to be key for this car's ultimate result. Well, those very early stoppers will maybe gain certainly the track advantage. All off a Porsche again.
Can't get back on the racetrack because of the traffic, couldn't cut back on because of the furniture lying on the ground. So number 56 having a second drama of the race, and once more Giorgio Roda. Look at the pressure that's being applied.
Dive down the inside, but it's all cut off by Giotto. Got lots and lots of great single-seater experience. So now the next opportunity is up the inside into Surtees again. Giotto covers that. So now frustration already on the opening lap for Raffaele Marcello to find a way around the number 12 Audi, but right again under the rear wing. Defence on the right-hand side now. Mercedes has got the benefit of being a little bit later on the brakes into Hawthorne's. He's got it past, good pass. Giotto had to concede. He was too tight coming into Hawthorne's and had to get out of the throttle. And there he can see the lead Ferrari now in the hands of Pierre-Alexandre Jean. Oh, so wide, Dries van Thor. Why are you so wide in paddock?
Saved it, a little mistake, and there, smashing through the polystyrene was 87, the Casper Stevenson Mercedes. So that's why it's now in fragments.
I think he was really trying to get round the Porsche, because it's limping its way back towards the pit lane. But watch Marcello, he has just set the fastest race lap, looking to get alongside up the inside. Jim Pla is on the defence on the inside. Marcello tries to go the long way around. He's got to be careful. He's now half on the racetrack, half off it, but he has found space down the inside into Graham Hill Bend. He can pick up his momentum. He momentarily lost it. And he was, well, how do I find a way past Jim Pla in my sister car? He made it, he forced it, and that's part of what Raffaele Marcello is all about.
So second all the way through the first stint, and fourth with half a lap of the next stint done. And Jules Gounon is going to be very frustrated. You can tell that. You don't need me to tell you it, because some of the time was lost with that left rear wheel that just wouldn't seat. They had to try again and again and again, and that's cost them a big chunk of time. Let's have a look at this. Go to the left rear. Wheel goes on. Won't. Try again. Look at that.
Watching Christopher Haase. Oh, and the Mercedes Stevenson runs wide. A gift, an absolute gift for Christopher Haase.
Indeed so, and he takes full advantage of that. And there is the race leader. Now, there is traffic ahead, and Dries van Thor is only a second and a half behind him. That traffic is not getting out of the way, and Pierre-Alexandre Jean can't find a way through, and he looks at the data, looks at the gap, and says, where's all the time gone? It was 2.8, now it's a second and a half. Elise de Pauw can barely watch all of this because he did a mega job in his stint, and this would be the ideal opportunity. And yes, Balilko does get out of the way. Sorry, Umberescu does get out of the way. Blue lights on. What a dramatic start to our Sprint Cup season in Fanatec GT. The checkered flag is at the ready, and it is going to be a win for AF Corsa, for Elise de Pauw, and for Pierre-Alexandre Jean, who brings home the Ferrari to win race one of the Sprint Cup at Brands Hatch. Dries van Thor is second, Raffaele Marcello is third, and a brilliant job done by the Ferrari team. This for fourth is Jim Pla, delayed in the pits, but fourth is the reward, and Elise de Pauw can finally breathe. So let's look at the provisional results of the opening sprint cup race of the Fanatec GT season. A win for Ulysse de Pau and Pierre-Alexandre Jean ahead of Charles Wins, for Timo Bogostowski and Raffaele Marcello third, ahead of Jules Dumont and Jim Clark, with Aurelien Panis fifth, and Patrick Niederhauser with the top six rounded out by Mattia Drudi and Luca Piotto. The Ferrari team very, very pleased indeed with what has been a great result. The AF Corsa squad wins at Brands Hatch.